Are you wanting to be an actor and you're wondering if you are too old to start acting? Well, the answer is yes, and I'm just kidding. Let's talk more about that after the bump. Hi everybody, this is Doug Fall from Augmented Actor. If this is your first time here, I invite you to stay by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on that notification bell so that you can see more videos when they become available. Do you think you're too old to start an acting career? Do you think you're too old to start an acting hobby? Just acting on the side? Well, I think you're never too late, and I think that maybe sometimes the younger you are, the more you think you're too old for something. And I'm here to tell you that that's just not the case. And usually the people who are asking this question are 18, 21, 25, 30. More than any other career out there, acting is one that you can start at almost any stage in your life, because acting is about being human and having a human experience. And so sometimes the older you are, the more of that human experience you've already established. And if you've got a little bit of talent and you get a little bit of training inside of you, you can go on to become a successful actor regardless of what age you start at. You know, when you're in ballet, for instance, starting early is important because you've got to get those muscle memories and the flexibility and the training from a very early age in order to get that into your body to really compete professionally. Hell, I started dancing when I was 19 years old, and I was never really a dancer. I would never be in the ballet, and I was never a great singer in terms of I wouldn't be an opera singer perhaps, because I didn't start early enough for those things. However, I got pretty dang good, so it doesn't really matter what age you start. As long as you're dedicated to it, you'll reach some level of experience with it, and you'll realize whether it works for you or not. But acting is just about being a human being most of the time. It's about discoveries and being human and portraying that on stage. It's a skill that anyone from any age can learn and can make themselves better at. So just as long as you're focused on that, you shouldn't worry about your age. I'll say the same thing too about type. If you think you're not pretty or attractive enough to be an actor, or you have a very distinguished type, you should embrace that. I am the guy that plays the fat guy role, or the geeky teen role, or the old man role, you know? People who are younger, they look at the world around them and they think, okay, I've got to be this beautiful 18-year-old person in order to find any work. And you know, yes, today's market is geared toward a younger audience, and yes, there are a lot of roles out there for younger actors. But if you are a younger actor in that market, you're going to have a buttload of competition as well. So sometimes if you wait a little bit longer to start your acting career, you can actually find more work because there's fewer people in your age range out there doing this. So what if you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 70s? Is it too old then to start an acting career? You know, there are some considerations to take into account. Now, the disadvantage of starting your acting career after, say, 25 or 30 is that you have a lot of catching up to do with those people that have had training, who've gone to school and college and whatnot. Because you do need a little bit of training, and you do need a little bit of talent, and you do need to make those connections and meet those people. So you will be playing catch up a lot, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a successful career anyway. Actors need to be able to use their bodies. They need to be able to express emotions and whatnot. And people who are older tend to have more experience under their belt, but they tend to be a little bit more rigid in their mannerisms, in their bodies, in their aches and pains and things like that. So as you go through an actor training session or classes, or even just working on a show, you're going to discover that it may take a little bit more energy than you're used to putting out there, and that you need to develop that flexibility as an actor with your body, with your mind, with your emotions and expression. And sometimes that might be more difficult for somebody in their 50s or 60s. But you will have very little competition in the market, and your personality type, what you are good at doing, might lend itself very well to theatricality, to theater, to playing you. And that's something you should always try to look into before you start an acting career. I know a lot of people who started acting when they were in the 30s, 40s, even 50s and beyond, and have had successful careers. I myself am a bit of a late bloomer. Even though I started acting in high school, I didn't get the roles that I needed to get or wanted to get for a long time. I struggled throughout college to get roles, and it wasn't until I got out and got on with my life a little bit until I was in my 30s that I actually started getting the roles that I thought I should be playing. I started playing dads when I should be playing grandfathers. You know, I started playing teenagers when I should be playing 20 and 30 somethings. I've always had like a younger face than I actually am. So it doesn't really matter how old you really are. It's how old you feel inside that counts. Age is just a number and it's all relative. If you're a good actor, you can play many different ages throughout your career at different times. You can play old and young. Don't worry about it too much. Just got to keep plugging away. I just want to be a source of encouragement to you. I want you to realize that you can act at any age. It's never too late. So if you've got the gumption and the go-how to do it, go out there and do it. But just remember that you got to play catch up. You got to really, really dedicate yourself to your craft and get yourself out there and start auditioning for things in order to compete in that market. But you know, the older you get, the less competition you got, so it's a good thing to be older. Trust me, from an old guy. Here, look at me, I'm old. And I'd also just like to note that 21, 18, 25, you're still freaking young. Do it, take your career. You're still young enough that you can travel and see the world, move to New York or LA, or take those risks in life before you have long-term relationships, before you have a mortgage to pay and a job that ties you down. You want to take that time to really investigate your acting. So that's one of the harder things for somebody who's in their 30s or 40s is they got a life, they got kids, they got a family, they got bills to pay. And so it becomes very difficult to maintain an actor's lifestyle when you're in that older age. The craft itself, the ability to go to an audition and get cast in something is still going to be there regardless of your age. I hope you found this video useful and inspirational, and I hope that helped answer your questions. If you like it, hit that like button and leave a comment down below and tell me about your experience. Why do you think that you were too old to start acting? I'd like to hear it, and maybe we'll have a conversation. And as always, click on some of the other videos that I have up here and you can see more of my stuff. Thanks. Bye.